Hey YouTube, Mark here. It's early morning. I'm trying to get myself going here, and lo and behold, I'm out of coffee this morning, so I got to brew some more. But I thought I'd take this time to kind of update my brewing method, my brewing style, and the amounts and all this other stuff that I have. But I also have a story to tell. In that, gosh, it had been close to a month and a half ago. I was up doing my Uber driving in Madison, and I picked up this one guy, and we started talking, just having a decent conversation, and I asked him what he does. And he told me he was a professional coffee roaster. Now, not a barista like at Starbucks or some coffee shop, okay? He actually commercially roasts coffee, just the coffee beans. And so basically what it is, people could come up to him, or a big corporation could come up to him and say, this is what we have for an idea or a product, and we want you to roast the beans to this specific way to achieve these certain flavors, or have flavors added to it or something like that. We want you to grind it like this, or we want the beans whole. We want them just shipped to our facility for the actual packaging, or they may even look at them and say, here's all of our bags. We want you to grind it, bag it, and everything, and send it out to the stores for us. So this is what this guy does. And I thought that was really interesting. And I started talking to him about my egg coffee brewing technique that I use. I've been doing that for, 8-9 months now? And he was like, wow, I've never heard of something like that. And at the end of the trip, he's like, hey, gives me a business card. He goes, email me your home address. He goes, I want to send you something. It's like, all right. Well, I drove around the rest of the day, and I got home and got my computer, and I emailed him and said, I think his name was David, I think. I go, here's my home address. Look forward to whatever it is you were going to send me. And I didn't hear anything for weeks. And it kind of slipped my mind, and I never really thought about it. And all of a sudden one day I get an email from him, and he was like, oh man, I'm sorry, I completely missed this. It just kind of got buried under all my work emails. He goes, can you remind me exactly what we were talking about, or what happened, what I was supposed to send you? So I gave him the whole story. We talked, we did this, you were interested in my egg coffee, and you were going to send me something. And I go, but I don't really remember what you were going to send me. He goes, oh yeah, that's right. And he goes, okay, I'll have it out to you in a couple of days. And lo and behold, it's been now a couple of days, and I've received his package, and here it is. He sent me a little bag of coffee. Well, not little, it's a 12-ounce bag of, looks like a medium grind coffee. Now his business, it's kind of like a co-op, I guess, because the place is actually called the Just Coffee Co-op. And this is the El Corazon. It says grapefruit, orange zest, dark chocolate, blended with coffee heart. Don't know what that means. So yeah, I've got my standard Kendra coffee. It's a brand that I really like. It does very well with this egg brewing technique. But being I'm out of coffee and I've got this, let's brew some up, see how it tastes. Let's get into it. I'll show you exactly what we need to do. My method has evolved over these past few months, but I think I've got it to the exact point where I like it, the amounts, the egg, the time, everything. Okay, let's get into this. Alright, the first thing I want to do is I actually want to fill my pot. I've been doing it this way for so long, I don't even need my my canter to measure out my water anymore. I know exactly where I need to go in this pan. Hot or cold water doesn't really matter. If anything, hotter water, of course, will take less time to heat up than if you use cold water. but I almost always use cold water. Alright, I'm going to start my pan, get the water boiling so it's on high. Okay, my next step is I need to weigh out my coffee grounds. I'm going to put my bowl on top of the scale here and turn it on. I do it that way just so it automatically zeroes out. And then I don't want pounds and ounces, I actually like grams. So it's at 0 grams. Alright, now with my Kinder coffee, I have always done 60 grams, and I'm going to do the same thing for this. A little over, but close enough. Alright, now I'm going to take my 2 eggs. One, 2. Take a spoon, just start mixing it all together. Alright, so that's kind of the consistency you're wanting. Just kind of thick and firm. It's not really runny, but it's not one big mass either. Okay, we just gotta wait for that water to boil. I do have my French press here. This is actually what I use to do the final filtering of the grounds. My water is coming up to a boil. It's looking really good. Alright, to me now that is now a full boil. So I'm actually going to drop my heat down to a simmer, just a medium-low, and I don't dump it all out in one big clump. I do like little spoonfuls. I don't know why I like this, but it just seems to work out a little bit better. Now what I'll do is I'm going to rinse out the bowl. I just rinse it out just because there are some grounds that are stuck to the side of the bowl. And just pour it right into the pot. Alright, now the next thing I need to do, I'm going to set my timer for 18 minutes. But I feel that after that 18 minutes, the bitter compounds will start to release and your mixture actually does start to become bitter. So to me, 18 minutes is just that nice little fine line between flavorful coffee and bitterness coffee. Alright, so we just gotta wait around for that to simmer. Like I said, it's just on a medium-low heat right now. It will come back up to a simmer. About halfway through, I'll take all those little nuggets that I dropped into the water and I'll flip them. But other than that, that's all we gotta do. So I did double check the emails that I was sent, and the guy's name isn't David, it's Scott. But wow. That would be interesting. I've got it brewing right now, and I'm waiting for it to get done here. We're not even halfway through the 18 minutes yet. But yeah, that's really an interesting aroma. We'll have to see what it's like. So, thanks Scott. Thanks for sending this from Just Coffee Co-op. I appreciate it. I can't wait for it to get done brewing. Alright, we've reached the halfway point. So I'm just going to take my little spider. It's kind of like a heavy slotted spoon, kind of ladle type thing. But I just take it, Just kind of flip everything around just to make sure that the grounds that were sitting on the top are now submerged. Alright, timer off, burner off. Okay, now this is the bowl that I mixed everything in, and I'm going to take my spider and I'm just going to scoop out all these big chunks. Alright, so there's all the big chunks. But now in here, there's still a lot floating around in there, just little things. That's what my French press is for. So I'm going to take this. I do it over the sink just because it could spill. And I'm just going to pour it into the press. Now I'm going to have to do this a couple of times, so okay, so then I'll top off my French press. And I go fairly slow. I don't go really fast with it. And once it's all the way to the bottom, I take my coffee canter and just pour it in there. And then I repeat with the rest of the coffee. But you can see that stuff floating around in there, all the stuff down here at the bottom. I think in my original video I was doing this with a cheesecloth, which is fine, but you always got to replace the cheesecloth. At least this way I can reuse the French press. Just wash it up. Told you I know my coffee. Filled right to the brim. Alright, let's pour a cup. Okay, reach up here, grab my coffee cup. There's my cup. And I'm just going to put this back in my coffee maker here for drinking later. Alright, I'm actually going to try this without any sugar. Usually I put a couple of Splendas in there. Very hot, so I don't want to burn my mouth. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I am going to put a couple of sweeteners in here. Give it a little stir. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a good coffee. So if you guys are interested, that was the Just Coffee Co-op. They're up in Madison. They make a damn good coffee. You know what I should do before I end this? I'm actually going to dump out that canter, and I'm actually going to do a drip style method of brewing just to see what the difference is between this and a drip style. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm getting everything ready. I already got the water in my coffee pot here, and I used a full canter. I filled it all the way up and poured it in. Now I'm going to start weighing out my grounds. Now I'm going to actually use the same amount of grounds as I did for the egg coffee. So I'm going to weigh out roughly 60 grams. I'm going to go a little over because I know I also had a little extra in the egg coffee. So I'm going to go a little bit over on this as well, just to make it even. Put my pre-filter on. Put that in. Okay. Haven't used that brewer in so long, we actually had it unplugged. And so yeah, I had to figure out how to turn it back on again. But yeah, it should give us a cup of coffee here in no time. Okay, the brewing's all done. I'm going to pour some in here so we can get a color comparison. And then I'm going to pour some in a clean cup and compare it to a cup where I've already got my egg coffee. And I've been sipping on this for a while now. And so it's kind of cooled off a little bit. Good to drink right now. Pour off a full jar here. Set that aside for now. But I can tell right now just by looking at it, that's a lot darker than that. But we already knew that from my other brewing video. And there. I already know that I like a little sweetener, so 2 packets. Leo stir. But, so let's see how the drip method of brewing compares with the egg method of brewing. There's just bitterness there, and it's like, it's off-putting to me. You know, okay, so this is the drip. And this is the egg style. Sorry, you can't really tell the 2 cups apart. It's really the only 2 decent coffee cups I got. See, now that's crisp and clean, no bitterness. Very, I don't want to say light flavor, just full flavor, no bitterness. Go back to the drip style. You know, I'm not really tasting. Oh, there's some. There's a very faint aftertaste right there of the grapefruit. Very, very faint. But I'm not really getting any of the orange zest or the chocolate, really. That might actually develop as it cools down. I've noticed a lot of times people drink their coffee scalding hot, and the flavor compounds are actually overpowered by all of the heat that's in the coffee. But if you let it cool down for a little while, then the flavors completely change. There have been coffees where I don't like it when it's hot at all. But once it gets down to probably close to maybe 115 degrees or so, you know, where you can actually take nice gulps of it without scalding your mouth, then it's completely different. completely different. So I am going to hold on to this, let it cool down a little bit, see if the flavorings kind of smooth out, mellow out as it cools down. Okay, so here's a side-to-side comparison on the colors. I've got under cabinet lighting right here, so I try to line it up with those lights. I know it seems darker down on this end. It's just because this is the very last light before it starts getting into the back corner of my countertop. But this should still be good representation, just the color difference in the brewing techniques. This is the drip coffee, much darker. This is the egg coffee, much lighter. Okay, it's been a while. My coffee is cooled down a bit. Let's see if there's any difference in the flavorings from it being scalding hot to just pleasantly warm. I mean, you might be able to still see a little bit of steam, but it's not bad. Still bitter. I get very, very faint notes of the grapefruit. I'm not really getting the orange zest really at all. And truthfully, I'm not getting much of the chocolate notes either. But it's not a bad coffee either. It's just that with the packaging, I don't really get those flavorings that it says it should have, the grapefruit, the orange zest, and the dark chocolate. I get maybe a little bit of the grapefruit. Oh, by the way, you'll also notice I'm slurping when I'm drinking. That's actually the proper way to take a drink of coffee. Because what it's doing, it's aerating in your mouth, and then those fumes go up into your nose, and it increases the palate and the taste of it, because 90% of your taste is actually in your nose. Yeah, good coffee. I'm going to go back to my egg coffee. Now, being that I brewed this one first, it's cooled down a lot more. See, that's just more refreshing. You know, without those bitter compounds in the coffee, it's just more pleasurable. I like my egg coffee. Alright, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching, and Scott from Just Coffee Co-op, thanks man, appreciate it. Hey guys, one last thing. I don't know if you saw it in my previous videos or not, but I'm thinking about changing the name of my channel. I want something that more reflects what I do, okay? I mean, using my personal name's fine. I don't mind that at all. But I think I could draw more people in to subscribe to my channel if they'd actually know what my channel is about just by the title of the channel. So, my idea is Chef, Biker, Hiker. It's the three things that I do. I cook, I ride my motorcycle, and I hike. That to me says it all. So comment down below, let me know, do you like the idea of the name change to Chef, Biker, Hiker? Let me know. Thanks again guys, thanks for watching, see you on the road.